let's talk about something you probably walk past every single day, maybe without even noticing it. But that chunk of cast iron on the corner, it has a pretty dramatic history, a surprisingly direct line to your bank account, and a really complex future. So let's dive in. I want to start with a question for you. What if the most important piece of tech for your family's safety wasn't the phone in your pocket, but something that's literally bolted to the sidewalk? That's right. We are talking about the fire hydrant. It's one of those things that's just everywhere. So much so that it's practically invisible. But its story is this incredible mix of disaster, smarts, and just plain civic duty. Okay, so to really get why hydrants matter, we have to go back in time. Back to when cities, well, they learned their lessons the hard way through some truly catastrophic fires. Picture this, it's 1904, the Great Baltimore Fire. For 30 terrifying hours, a massive part of the city is just burning. Fire companies are racing in from DC, New York, Philly, all to help. But when they get there, a lot of them can't do a thing. They're totally helpless. But why? Well, the problem was as simple as it was infuriating. Their hoses wouldn't fit Baltimore's hydrants. See, back then, every city, sometimes even different neighborhoods in the same city, had its own unique, patented hydrant design. And when faced with a disaster, that lack of standardization was, well, it was deadly. And the scale of this problem? It's just mind-boggling. A study from around that time found there were over 600 different sizes and types of fire hose couplings across the country. It was basically chaos by design, all to protect different manufacturers from competition. So yeah, Baltimore was a huge wake-up call. By 1905, the National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, had created a national standard. But that lesson, it didn't quite stick. As late as 1991, during the horrible Oakland Hills fire, incompatible hydrants were still a problem. And that failure contributed to the loss of 25 lives and billions in damage. And you can just see how slow this change has been. 100 years after the Baltimore fire, a government study found that only 18 of the 48 biggest U.S. cities had hydrants that were fully standardized. Now, most had standard hose connections, which is good, but 5 major cities still had no standard connections at all. Okay, so this isn't just a history lesson. This whole story has a really direct impact on your wallet. That hydrant sitting on your corner, yeah, it's connected to how much you pay for insurance. To understand why, you just need to know 2 acronyms. First up is ISO, the Insurance Services Office. The simplest way to think of them is as the risk analysts for the insurance industry. They collect a ton of data on how well your community is protected from fire. And all that data leads to our second acronym, PPC. That stands for Public Protection Classification. Basically, ISO gives your community a grade from 1 to 10. Class 1 is the absolute best, superior fire protection. Class 10, on the other hand, means a system doesn't even meet minimum standard. So here's how it all connects. Your town's fire department, its 911 system, and, this is the big one, its water supply, which includes regular testing of fire hydrants. That all gets evaluated. That evaluation leads to the PPC grade, and then insurance companies use that grade to help figure out your home and business insurance rates. A better grade, which means a well-maintained hydrant system, can literally lower costs for everybody in town. But what happens when that system fails? When a fire breaks out and the hydrant right there is broken. The question of who's responsible, well, it's not nearly as simple as you might think. It just seems like common sense, doesn't it? If the city puts a hydrant there and it doesn't work when it's needed most, and property gets damaged, the city should be responsible, right? Well, legally, it is way more complicated than that. This goes all the way back to a legal idea called sovereign immunity. And this quote from way back in 1905 kind of sums it up. The idea is that providing fire protection is a governmental function, something the city does for the public good, not as a specific service to you, the individual. And because of that, the city generally can't be sued if it fails at doing that function. And hey, don't think this is some dusty old law nobody uses. This quote, it's from a Virginia Supreme Court ruling in 2019. In that case, a man actually died in a house fire where the closest hydrant was broken. And the court stood by that century-old idea, ruling that taking care of hydrants is an immune governmental function, which protected the city from being held liable. So, these crazy legal situations and just the life or death reality of needing a working hydrant, it's all driving a huge technological revolution. So, let's take a look at the hydrant of tomorrow. The big shift here is moving from being reactive to being proactive. For more than 100 years, managing hydrants meant sending a crew out to manually check on them one by one. The new way? It's to put the technology inside the hydrant itself. We're talking about smart hydrants. So what exactly makes a hydrant smart? Well, for starters, it's got sensors that are monitoring water pressure and if it's being used, all in real time. They can send out automatic alerts if someone's messing with it, if it's been damaged, or if it's starting to leak. And all that data can be plugged right into city mapping systems, giving firefighters and water departments a live, bird's-eye view of their most important assets. And the benefits here are huge. For firefighters, it means they know before they even get to a fire which hydrants are working and which ones have the best water pressure. For cities, it means they can do proactive maintenance, fixing tiny problems before they turn into major failures. And for all of us, it means saving water by catching leaks almost instantly. So the next time you walk past one of these things, maybe you won't just see a piece of plumbing anymore. Maybe you'll see a story of historic disasters, a hidden piece of your own personal finances, and a quiet sentinel on the front line of technology, just waiting for its moment to save the day.